Welcome to Advanced Dual Health and Life Coach Certification. Today we're going to discuss faith-specific coaching modules, specifically Shinto spiritual coaching. Let's start with an introduction. Understanding Shinto spiritual coaching. Shinto spiritual coaching is a unique approach rooted in the ancient spiritual tradition of Shinto, an indigenous faith of Japan. This philosophy emphasizes the interconnectedness of humanity, nature, and the divine spirit known as the kami. Shinto is not a rigid religion with strict doctrines, but rather a way of understanding and living in harmony with one's environment, community, and self. For life and health coaches, integrating Shinto principles creates a holistic, spiritually rich framework that helps clients foster a sense of balance, respect for nature, and an appreciation for the divine forces at play in their lives. Here are some key points of learning. Fostering a connection to kami, the divine spirits. Kami and Shinto are divine spirits believed to inhabit all aspects of the natural world, from majestic mountains and rivers to humble stones and ancient trees. The term doesn't neatly align with Western concepts of God. Kami might include ancestral spirits, nature deities, and even abstract forces like creativity and courage. Fostering a connection to kami means recognizing and honoring the sacred in every day. Applications and coaching. Rituals of reverence. Clients can perform small acts of gratitude as offerings to kami. For instance, they might pause to thank the sun for its light, or bow before a tree that provides shade, reinforcing mindfulness and humility. Personal shrines. Coaches can guide clients to create a personal sacred space akin to Shinto shrine, where they reflect, meditate, and recenter themselves. This can include objects that hold personal or symbolic meaning, like a candle, plant, or a meaningful photo. Counsel through nature. Encourage clients to spend time outdoors, observing natural details and cultivating a sense of awe and connection. This shift focuses from stress and screens to the beauty around them. Reflective journaling after these interactions can deepen their understanding. For example, a client feeling disconnected from their purpose might be encouraged to develop a daily walk ritual. While walking, they could pause to notice the subtle movements of leaves or listening to bird songs, aligning with the presence of kami. This fosters a profound sense of interconnectedness. Insight not commonly known. Shinto views kami as not merely external entities, but as energies that can be awakened within individuals. A coach might emphasize awakening the inner kami through acts of kindness, resilience, or creativity. Cultivating purity in body, mind, and spirit. Purity is a central tenet of Shinto. This concept extends beyond physical cleanliness to the purification of thoughts, emotions, and relationships. Impurities can accumulate from negative experiences such as stress, unhealthy habits, or embedding one's connection to the divine and to others. Purity rituals aim to restore balance. Applications and coaching. Physical purity practices. Encourage clients to maintain cleanliness not as a chore but as a spiritual practice. For instance, tidying their living space becomes a way to bring order and clarity to the mind. Take a look at the diagram on the right for body, mind, and spiritual connection. Mental purity techniques. Teach clients to wash away mental impurities through contemplation exercises or mindful breathing. By focusing on releasing worry or resentment, they cultivate inner clarity. And purifying relationships. Guide clients to identify toxic patterns or unresolved tensions in relationships and assess ways to mend or release them constructively. For example, a client overwhelmed by past mistakes might be invited to perform a symbolic purification act, like flowing water over their hands and visualizing the negative emotions being washed away. This Shinto-inspired ritual provides a tangible meaning of releasing burdens. The coaching tip: gently introduce clients to the idea of ritual cleansing. For example, a client preparing for a challenging event like delivering a presentation could figuratively purify the moment by lighting incense and taking deliberate breaths to clear their energy. Insights not commonly known. Shinto doesn't view impurities as a sin or moral failings, but inevitable occurrence in life. Purity rituals are not confessions, but acts of restoring alignment, a perspective that fosters self-compassion. Harmonizing with nature. Shinto teaches that humans are a vital part of nature, not separate or superior to it. Living in harmony with nature, wa, means acknowledging that humanity's well-being is inextricably tied to the environment and adopting lifestyles that respect this balance. Application and coaching. Seasonal awareness. Help clients tune into the cycles of nature by observing seasonal changes and aligning their actions with them. This could mean setting new rituals in spring for renewal or reflecting on gratitude during autumn. Mindful consumption. Encourage eco-friendly habits such as reducing waste or practicing mindfulness eating. This reinforces respect for the resources that sustain us. And direct environmental engagement. Suggest activities like gardening, hiking, or volunteering in conservation efforts to promote a greater appreciation for the interconnectedness of life. For example, a client struggling with anxiety might plant a small herb garden. Caring for it daily is an act of mindfulness. Watching the plants grow can symbolize personal resilience and the nurturing of harmony within themselves. An insight not commonly known? Stop. For example, a client struggling with anxiety might plant a small herb garden. Caring for it daily is an act of mindfulness. Watching the plants grow can symbolize personal resilience and nurturing of harmony within themselves. Insights not commonly known? Shinto emphasizes the idea of places of power, natural sites where kami resides. Coaches can introduce clients to the concepts of finding their own sacred space, whether a forest path, a riverside bench, or even a quiet room at home. Integrating personal rituals into everyday life. Daily rituals in Shinto are simple, often private moments of gratitude or remembrance. They are not confined to temples but can be seamlessly woven into daily routines. Such rituals ground individuals, making the ordinary sacred. Applications in coaching. Morning grounding practices. Suggest that clients dedicate the first moments of their day to expressing gratitude. A simple bow or silent acknowledgement of a spiritual force can help them center. Celebrating life events. Encourage clients to mark milestones or transitions, such as starting a new job, with intentional acts like lighting a candle or saying a prayer for guidance. Mindful clarity rituals. Teach clients short exercises like focusing on single breaths before starting a task, or bringing their whole present to the moment. For example, before eating a meal, a client could pause briefly to express gratitude to the farmers, the earth, and the unseen forces that made the food possible. Over time, this ritual fosters gratitude and mindfulness. Advanced insight. Shinto emphasizes simplicity over spectacle, imparts to client that simple, heartful rituals may carry and often carry more significance than elaborate ceremonies. Inspiring harmony in relationships and community. Harmony, or wa, isn't just about coexistence. It's actively fostering peace in all social and environmental relationships. Shinto teaches that the collective well-being of a community directly impacts personal well-being. For coaches, this means helping clients balance individual aspirations with collective good. Take a few moments to review the key to building harmonious relationships below. Application in coaching. Conflict resolution. Introduce principles of mutual respect and dialogue for resolving relationship conflicts. Community engagement. Encourage clients to participate in group activities that strengthen bonds, such as neighborhood cleanups or family traditions. And acting as a role model. Inspire clients to lead with humility and understanding, modeling harmonious behavior for others. For example, a client feeling isolated could organize a small community event, such as sharing a circle or a cleanup drive, creating opportunities for deeper connections and a sense of contribution. Insight not commonly known. Shinto prioritizes the concept of kodoma, the spirit of reciprocity in relationships. Coaches can weave this concept into sessions, asking clients to reflect on acts of giving and receiving in all of their relationships. Best practices for Shinto spiritual coaches. Ground coaching practices in sacred awareness. What does that mean? Treat each coaching session as sacred, honoring the opportunity to guide the client on their spiritual and life path. How do you apply this? Begin and end with sessions with moments of symbolic grounding, such as inviting both the client to pause, take a deep breath, and make a short verbal acknowledgement of gratitude. A coach might say, before we begin, take a moment to center yourself. What gratitude arises in this space today? Incorporate nature as a guide. What it means? Nature is a reflection of balance and wisdom. Use it both as a metaphor and a literal resource for coach concepts. How to apply? Encourage outdoor sessions when possible, or use visual elements from nature like a plant or a water ball during discussions on life's flow or resilience. For example, while discussing resilience, the coach might introduce the image of a tree bending and explain how strength often lies in adaptability. Encourage personal purity rituals. What does that mean? Help clients identify areas in their life where they can simplify and purify, aligning with Shinto's emphasis on clearing impurities. How to apply this? Introduce small client-specific rituals for cleansing. This might include breath work to align body and mind or physical tidying rituals for their living and working spaces. For example, a coach suggests every evening use 5 minutes to gently clear your workspace. Feel how a clean space reflects your energy as you start fresh tomorrow. And focus on practical spirituality. What does this mean? Shinto principles thrive in simplicity. Translate spiritual ideals into actionable, relatable practices for clients. How to apply? Break down abstract Shinto concepts into tangible tools. For example, explain the idea of kami through personal energy and encourage small, consistent moments of awe in daily life. After explaining kami, the coach might say, how about we focus on finding one moment that is wonderful, even if it's just watching the clouds. Model purity and harmony as a coach. Embody Shinto principles of balance and integrity in your coaching practice. This includes maintaining a clear and focused coaching space, using respectful language, and demonstrating emotional clarity. How to apply? Strive for calm, uncluttered settings for sessions, both physical and emotional. Minimize distractions and show up fully present. For example, a coach keeps their office space clean and simple, perhaps with a single potted plant and an intentional absence of excess clutter. Client feels a sense of calm and focus upon entering. Create depth in ritual without complexity. What this means? Spirituality doesn't require elaborate practices. Instead, authenticity is key. Help clients find meaning in simple, heartfelt rituals. Guide clients toward rituals that commit to daily, such as gratitude exercises or lighting a favorite candle during moments of reflection. For example, a minimalist morning routine involving stretching, sipping tea, and saying silently that is your foundation for mindfulness. Promote community as a path to harmony. What this means? Encourage clients to engage in their communities, finding strength and support in shared traditions and activities. Suggest actions or traditions that reinforce connections, such as volunteering, creating new family customs, or contributing to environmental causes. Propose that a client initiate a monthly book sharing event in their neighborhood as a way of fostering learning and unity. And address emotional impurities. Shinto recognizes that emotions like anger or grief can cloud judgment and balance. Coaches should help clients process and release these. Focus on release-oriented coaching techniques such as guided forgiveness exercises or symbolic letting go activities using water or breath. Walk a client through writing down a regret or a fear and then tearing the paper, symbolizing release. Balance tradition and individual needs. While rooted in ancient wisdom, Shinto is living and adaptive. Coaches must work flexibly to meet their client where they are. Avoid prescribing rigid rituals instead, and offer broad principles and allow clients to personalize their practice. For example, a client may prefer journaling over physical rituals due to their lifestyle, and the coach adapts purification practices into a reflective writing exercise. Integrate the concept of reciprocity. Shinto emphasizes giving and receiving as a key to balance. Coaches should help clients evaluate how they reciprocate energy in relationships and community. How to apply this? Include dialogue on reciprocity and monthly goal reflections. Focus on helping clients identify ways they contribute to and benefit from their environment. For example, a coach might ask, where have you given generous energy this week, and how did that come back to lift you up? Use metaphors to illustrate points. Shinto is rich with natural imagery. Coaches can use metaphors drawn from nature to communicate spiritual ideas effectively. Tailor metaphors to the client's challenges, demonstrating concepts like resilience, flow, or balance. For example, think of your emotions as a flowing river. Which stones cause resistance, and how can we gently shift